Is there a place more beautiful, more wild than the realm of the Southern Oceans? Where once-a-year breeding events bring together mass aggregations.
This is exactly what we've come here to see.
And giants gather for some extraordinary close-up encounters.
Yeah, blow! It's a blow! We got whales!
Come with us on a midwinter journey along our shores, in our shallows, as miraculous events of the natural world play out along our southern coastlines.
Isn't nature just absolutely phenomenal?
This is Event Television, where we're coming to you live.
Uh-oh, looks like we're in for some trouble. Oh, here we go.
With big creatures, big science.
This is the best research of my life.
And big thrills.
My heart is going so fast right now.
Southern Ocean Live.
If you were driving along the coastline of South Australia, this desolate landscape would give you no indication of the magic which is happening below the surface. Here in the Spencer Gulf, there's a spectacle happening like nowhere else on Earth. This small headland is the only hard substrate in the Gulf, and because of that tiny bit of hard substrate, there's a congregation of animals I'd love to show you.
Wish me luck. It doesn't matter how many times you go scuba diving, it always feels like you're a spaceman arriving on a different planet. And I tell you, these guys are the most incredible little aliens I've ever seen. You just look at them. These cuttlefish have a complex communication system. Oh, hello there. Using colours, lights, body positions, and skin textures to communicate their intention to one another and to prey. They really are like little creatures from another world. In peak season here in the Spencer Gulf, we'll have somewhere between 200,000 and 500,000 of these giant Australian cuttlefish. The Spencer Gulf is mostly sand, and it's only on these very small reefs where the cuttlefish can lay their eggs. So these big male cuttlefish come to the reef looking for mates. And this guy is making his way around trying to find one of the females that's already being protected to steal from another male. When he finds one, you'll see posturing exactly like this. Males compete using their size. Oop. Not that one. But males will compete. And sometimes it does get physical. So before that happens, you often see them display to each other. They'll spread their tentacles out wide, like this, trying to make themselves look bigger and more threatening to their opponents. What are you looking at there, mate? Well, they'll flash black and white as a warning to the other males. There you go, that's what I'm talking about. This male is flashing those white tentacles, flattening himself out, trying to appear bigger. This position's called the shovel. It's one that says, I've got something going on down here under this rock, and I don't want you to come anywhere near it. And here comes another challenger. Uh-oh, looks like we're in for some trouble here. He's a man on a mission. Is there going to be a challenge? This could get very interesting. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is incredible. And these smaller males. Oh. These smaller males are trying to compete to get in there. Just don't go too close to that other big guy. Oh. I think I just got inked. Where did he go? You see, when they're under threat, they squirt this ink from specialized sacs within their body, and it screens them from view as they make their getaway. You're safe now, buddy. Oh, have a look at this over here. This is exactly what we've come here to see. These cuttlefish have the most unique way of breeding. Oh, this is amazing. This way of breeding between cephalopods is where the male and female interlock tentacles kind of by the face. The male will deliver a very small sperm packet to the female into an opening just below her mouth with the hope of fertilizing the very next egg that she lays. It's kind of gross but kind of nice at the same time. I'll leave you guys to it. So this female cuttlefish will be looking for a place to lay her eggs. You can see her checking out the different cracks and crevices, looking for a potential place as an egg site. Found one. This at the moment is her going in to lay that last fertilized egg inside that little cave. So you might be able to see her putting her head right up inside that crack. She's depositing the egg that she's just fertilized. Oh, what's she got going on in there? About 30 to 40 little ghostly white berries, cuttlefish eggs. This new mum has decided that is the perfect place to rear the next generation. Once deposited, they're all on their own. No more help from mum and dad. Oh, this is just so fascinating. It's like they don't even know that I'm here. Or don't care. Because they've got other things on their mind.
Casey, oh my beloved Casey. I walk the beach every morning before anyone gets up to see if I can find treasures washed up the beach and just to kind of check in before the crazy day starts. And when I was walking along, I found a plastic tube that was washed up. And lo and behold, inside this plastic plumber's tube was an octopus. And then I had a closer look, and then she started emerging, and I saw that she actually had eggs in there. And then she started pushing the tube. We know that octopus are really, really smart, but this was incredible just to see how smart she was. She knew that she needed to get her babies back in the water. She was this fierce mother that was going to do anything that she can to ensure the survival of her babies. But it wasn't that deep, and I thought, you're probably a little bit pooped. I knew because there was lots of storms that she would get washed up again. So I gave her a little bit of a hand and I tied her tube to a brick. And I put her out in deeper water. And then for about 2 months, I went back and saw Casey. I called the octopus Casey because it means warrior mother, and she epitomised that. So every time I went out to see her, I wanted to make sure that, she was doing okay, because I knew that at some point she was going to die. That's the nature of octopus. They don't live for very long. So I'd swim up, my heart in my mouth, thinking, this time am I going to see her? And then I'd see the tube. And then I'd see her ruby red skin. I'd go, oh, okay, we've got another day. And so I'd just sit and watch. Sometimes she'd come out and be a bit curious. And then I'd find some mussels and I'd see if she'd feed. Because traditionally they don't feed when they're looking after their babies. It's too risky to come out and hunt because their little babies are, great food for lots of predators. So I'd come out and I'd feed her. She didn't like the big mussels. She kind of liked the smaller little mollusk. So I kind of learnt that. She's getting a free feed, so if someone's bringing you a meal, you'd eat it, and she did. She was mothering her babies, and then I felt almost like I was mothering her and protecting her and wanting to make sure that she was safe so she can protect her babies. So it's like this kind of chain reaction. In the end, it was a bit of trepidation because I could see that she was starting to deteriorate. You could see that she started making these kind of postures with her arms, which are apparently a sign that the neurons in the arms are starting to kind of break down. So I knew the time was coming, and I think that's why at some point I delayed going back for a week or two, because I knew what was going to happen. When I saw that she wasn't there anymore, I just was like, oh. That was pretty heartbreaking, actually. It's amazing the impact that nature can have on you, good and bad. I knew that her babies had hatched because I could see baby octopus. I really believe that people can form relationships with animals. Octopus are some of the most intelligent creatures on the planet. So it doesn't surprise me that I was able to form that connection. And hopefully people will go, wow, aren't octopus amazing? I want to protect them. I want to put on a mask and snorkel and see what's in my blue backyard.
We're in Port Phillip Bay and it's the start of winter. And what we're trying to do is witness the annual migration of the spider crabs. One of the greatest migrations in nature. Now these little guys are on the outskirts of the migration, and they've been moving around the bay for a couple of weeks now. They've come up from the deep ocean, about 800 metres deep, believe it or not, and they come into the bay en masse. Now, you would think that they're coming here to mate, but it's not the case. They're actually coming here to molt. Molting is when they get rid of this hard shell on the outside and the actual animal will pull itself out of all the legs and out of this body structure, and then it'll basically grow itself a new shell once it expands. And that's really how they get bigger and bigger each season. So when they've come out of that crab shell, they're soft-bodied and they're really, really vulnerable. And that's why these crabs are building these big pyramids or towers. And if you're at the bottom, you're just a little bit safer. There really is safety in numbers. There are just so many crabs down here at the moment, all moving around on the bottom, bumping into each other, crawling over the top. They're just a marching mass. Just fantastic to see this natural phenomenon right here in Port Phillip Bay. Now, somewhere around here is Sheree, who's looking for the ultimate predator of the spider crab. And they're starting to move around under this pier.
Oh. So I'm in quite shallow water, only kind of 2 to 3 meters. And in this depth of water, I'm able to see an ocean giant, the smooth ray, which is Australia's largest ray. It weighs a massive 350 kilos. It measures about 4 meters. Oh, here we go. We've got one here that's come in to feed. Look how big that is. And they love spider crabs, freshly molted spider crabs. They'll come in and swoop over the aggregation of spider crabs, and you'll just see them scattering. It's got these jaws that are kind of like chisels, which you use for grinding their prey. Extraordinary! They're just absolutely gorging themselves on these crabs, and why wouldn't you? It's just a smorgasbord of crustaceans, and they cannot get enough. This is nature at its best and also at its most brutal.
Australia's east coast is known as the Humpback Whale Highway because in winter, 35,000 whales travel up from Antarctica to our warmer waters.
Oh, that might have been a breach.
Today we're heading out to try and take some samples of whales using a truly unique method.
I had something at 1 o'clock, potential breach. So this course is awesome. Yeah, blow, it's a blow. We got whales. Again, another blow. Blow, 2 whales. Oh, big breach. When the camera's always down. Oh, okay, now that's a peck slap. Right there is a beautiful thing to see because it shows that the whales are not moving fast anymore. They're faffing at the surface. They're just hanging out. It's so perfect for sampling right now. So Alistair's now getting the drone ready. We will be using our purpose-built drones to sample their lung bacteria. So they breathe air like you and I, except their nose is located on top of their head. This is like an inbuilt snorkel so they can breathe air. And as they do so, we can fly the drone through that to collect their lung bacteria to learn more about their health internally. Okay, there they are. A little bit to port, please, if you don't mind. Perfect. As you can see, that right there is juicy sample hanging in the air. That is the sample we want to collect. We're in a really good position right now to make something happen in the science world. Turn to look south of your position.
South?
Okay, there's... Okay, they're up. Sorry, turn around, Alistair. Turn to the right. To your right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, stop.
Yeah, you're totally on the right path. Holy dooly! Oh my gosh! Wow, this area is perfect. We're all coming together.
There's a sample.
Oh, perfect. Nice work, Alistair. You got a sample.
Going around again. While I'm right over the top, I can see it in the water very clear.
Oh, fantastic, Alistair. Now, I must point out we have a scientific licence to do this type of research to get within only a few metres of a humpback whale. Up again.
Right there. And snot sample.
Nice work. Well done. That is an awesome flight. You have nailed it. Wow. Oh, good. This is so exciting. Look at that. The petri dish is so much bigger than our other ones.
Oh, that's perfect.
That right there is whale snot. Well done. So what we'll do now is we'll take it back to the lab and then we'll see what types of bacteria and viruses are living inside. It's been such a wonderful day already. We're going to put this back on ice and then see if we can sample more whales on the Humpback Whale Highway. Right, can you see the whales, Alistair? Oh my God! They're just there! At our bow! At our bow! Cut the engines! Holy doolies, guys! Oh my God! We are being mugged by an animal the size of a bus. Oh my God! Look at this, the size of these animals. Holy shit! I have never in my life had this kind of thing happen off Sydney. Look at the scars. Look at this animal right here. This animal is... Oh my God, I'm very emotional right now. Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh wow, that's tail. Sorry, I'm very emotional. That's amazing. But look, this is its arm. That's a skyhawk. Look at the animal bringing its mouth out of the water. It's just looking at our boat. This has never happened in whale snot sampling before. Wow. Hear that? The roar, the... Oh my God. Here we go, a sample. This is the best research of my life. Winter is really my favourite time of the year for Australia's marine life. The wildlife adventures that are here right on our door are absolutely phenomenal. Whales are magnificent creatures and I'm so fortunate to be able to work with them. But you too can have the opportunity to help us learn more about them in our marine environment. So stick around because coming up later in the show, we're going to tell you just how you can do that.
It's midwinter and I'm in Bermagui on the New South Wales south coast. It's a beautiful spot, but what's going on out there right now is even more spectacular. So we're going to go and check it out. So what's been going on the last few days? Why are we so eager to get out here right now?
We've had a megapod or a mass aggregation of humpback whales all in the same area, and that's where you get, well, the other day we had 150 whales feeding in the same area, but we're very hopeful that the pod was still around yesterday, and we're still really hopeful that today we're going to get out and see the same thing.
It must be awesome to sort of be surrounded by all of that.
Absolutely, yeah, it's incredible. Just so much noise and so much smell. You can really, really smell the whales. They're really smelly. So
what's the smell?
It's like a fermented fish. It stinks.
You're making it sound just inspiring.
Yeah, but it's just incredible. It's a pretty amazing thing to witness.
I think we're all kind of got our hearts in our chest at the moment because we're just desperate to see them. there's one breaching just over there. Oh, wow. There's another there. They're all around us now. It's almost like they're dancing off the front of the boat. Did you hear that? It's like they're talking to us. So there's a bait ball over there, that's what they're calling it. I've never seen one of these before. It's like the surface of the ocean is moving, and then around, oh, look at that! Wow! Wow! My goodness. They're just feeding right there. It's prehistoric almost. Shakes your core when you hear them bursting out of the water. And then the size of it, the scale of it, all happening at once. It's awesome. It is genuinely awesome.
What we've seen today, we've seen maybe twice in the last 19 years, so really, really incredible.
And so close. That's the thing I can't get my head around. Like that, you could almost reach out and touch them. If you jumped in the water, you'd probably be gobbled up.
Awesome. It's just like it's been the best day. It's unreal.
There hasn't been much documentation of this sort of thing happening along the Australian coastline.
Absolutely not. No, it was originally thought for many years that the whales only fed on krill down in Antarctica, but we've just lately discovered that they've been doing some feeding here on the south coast, and in the last 2 years we've started documenting these megapods.
You have done this for so long and you're obviously so passionate about whales. What's today like for you?
Oh, it's incredible. It's amazing. Yeah, really, really stoked.
Thank you for having us.
No
we
worries,
feel pretty
mate.
privileged.
No worries at all.
They always make big promises when you come on trips like this, but you never imagine you're going to see it at its finest. Surrounded by whales, feeding on the bait ball, right in the middle of it as it happens. And this is genuinely rare. And it tells us something much bigger about the health of our oceans and the health of the Australian coastline. And it's been a real privilege to see these beasts so up close and personal.
My name's Warren Foster, Senior. Yuin Jurunganj, man. Grew up here. We're sitting in Jurunganj, Yuin country here. We saltwater people, yeah. The Yuin people, we always had that special connection to the ocean, what we call the guttu. Because guttu, it sustained us, fed us. Yeah, for hundreds of thousands of years, that's how we lived. When you look at the dolphin and the orcas and janda and big humpbacks, our old people, we knew that they weren't fish. We knew they were breathing, living mammals. So we looked at them as our ancestors, our uncles and aunties and grandparents and that. We knew that we had to give them that respect. We started singing, calling out to them then. we used to call it dolphins, and dolphins used to round up the fish and bring them in when the high tide was on. And the fish would get caught in the pools, and then when that tide went out, and we just go there with the spear and spear them. Is it the same way we utilise them dolphins? The old people utilise them orcas as well. Yeah, when the winter sets in, then we watch out for janda, the humpback. The same way we sing on the land, or when we used to go and walk about, so we know where we're going. It's like a path, or like a map, really. Same thing for when janda and them come up from Antarctica. They got their own unique songlines too, as well. There's two groups. One goes on the east side, that's all our mob here, and that's their songline. And the other mob go up around Western Australia. Two different distinct songs passed down to each generation. Yeah, pretty amazing. Really just like a lot of mob on the land here. When the whales came through, we've done them big mad celebration dances. And yeah, so different mobs had to sort of come in the country, and there was big corroboree rings up here. Young people were, I guess we were one of the luckiest mob going, to have that relationship. For a while there wasn't any whales coming up or down because of whale industry. But now it's good that we see them swimming up and down again. I suppose we do more ceremony, more dancing, more singing. And that's what the old people told us. The way we can bring them back is through dance and ceremony. And calling them in and showing them that we're still there. Yeah, we're still connected to them.
I'm Dave Riggs, and I'm on the country of the Noongar Nation, and we're right on the edge of the Southern Ocean. And out there, 70 kilometres offshore, is the Bremer Canyon hotspot. It's an underexplored, completely mysterious location. I think very akin to the marine equivalent of a Jurassic Park. We leave Bremer, it takes us an hour and a half to get out to this place. And it's only as big as, half a dozen football fields strapped together. And nearly every time we go there, it's just like an arena of activity. The first time I saw killer whales in this place, I thought it was a curiosity. But then to go back again and again and again and to continually see them, and then to realise some of these were the same animals, I started to become interested about what is it that's causing all of these animals to come back here. There's a strange odour that permeates the Bremer Canyon. Could never work out what it was. After all of the years we've been going there, finally we have worked out what it is. It's the smell of death. The smell of predation. There's one particular day that really stands out. We'd headed out and we got to our hotspot right at the head of the Bremer Canyon, and that's when we saw these killer whales had found a blue whale, and they'd clearly been chasing it. But blue whales are the biggest animal on the planet, and they're singing away as they're going along. And the killer whales are listening. And if they sense an opportunity, well, here's one, we're ready, let's go. There was a real concerted effort to keep it underwater. They were trying to drown it, but they were also biting it. There were a lot of big chunks missing down towards its tail. There were killer whales being hit by tails of the whale as it was thrashing, as it was moving. And then that killer whale would break away, another one would take its place. We've now got 50 or 60 killer whales, seriously dominant apex predators, swimming around our boat, feeding on this blue whale. And what is that coming over the horizon? We could see what looked like a stampede of whitewater coming, just heading straight for us. Then we can make it out. It's probably 200 pilot whales attracted by the carnage. 40 minutes from when the blood hits the water, the killer whales must finish their feed because the pilot whales come in and literally chase them away. It was an incredible moment to witness. It was gruesome, but you know, it is nature. It's terrible to watch sometimes, but just the way everything interacted together, it was fascinating. It was still there 6 weeks later. We went back to it. There was a huge slick of oil full of birds and tuna on the surface. So you can imagine what may be attracted to a carcass of that magnitude sitting right on the edge of the continental shelf in an area we know has got giant squid and colossal squid and great white sharks and bluefin tuna and broad-billed swordfish, and the list goes on and on and on. I think it's so important to highlight places like this. You know, it's inspirational. There's nowhere else in the world like this. You know, this is the only location where a truly offshore population of killer whales can be found reliably. It's not all discovered, it's not all known by any means. It's a matter of looking a little bit beyond your backyard, and who knows what you're going to find.
My name is Mark Payne, and I'm on Wurundjeri country. I've worked here as a second-generation abalone diver for over 30 years. This part of the coast is probably one of the most scenic parts of the coast anywhere on the planet. But it's cold and it's extremely rugged. And I think that ruggedness just engraves something into you to really respect and appreciate that environment. Abalone diving isn't for anyone. You've got to love nature and you've got to like being alone. We work alone underwater all day long. It's quite a scary environment for some people. We're working in the pathways of white sharks and we've just got to use the best tool available, and I think you'll find most divers will say our cage is our safest option. Yeah, our cages, they get around the bottom pretty good. We get around at about 1.5 knots. Our cages are driven by hydraulics, so oil. So you've got oil lines that go up and down and they drive the propulsion system. Then you've got air inside of them and you've got backup air, so scuba cylinders. And then you've got hoses that do signals, whistles back to the surface. So there's a whole combination of hoses within that umbilical cord. It's quite safe and it's a great little haven and a good little spot to be in, when you're diving, just to feel comfortable when you're in that environment. Basically, abalone is a mollusk and it sits on the seafloor and it feeds on seaweed like algae. So quite often we'll just park our cage alongside an abalone patch and then we'll just hop out and move around that cage, collect the abalone, and then bring them back. I personally work right next to my cage because of my experiences, and I tend to look a lot as well. I think experiences with white sharks, they can vary a lot. They're always different. You can get that really nice experience where you just see the white shark out in the distance. You see it like using the structure and the environment, changing its angles and swimming along the seagrass edges, and you can just see how the camouflage works and just how they use their stealth so well. Such an amazing experience just seeing how they operate. Something that you just do not see unless you're an abalone diver. And then the other experience is where they get quite motivated. And they can be quite aggressive and you find yourself hiding. They're coming straight at you and you're trying to fend them off. Sometimes if a shark comes in, you have to confront it. My first experience was that traumatic that I spent the next 12 months diving, looking over my shoulder, terrified. In that situation, that shark was about a 3.5 metre female. Drove head on at that shark probably 10, 15 times. And it'd just turn and go away and then turn around, come at another angle and just kept coming at me and coming at me. And I just kept doing that for 20 minutes. You're wondering, when's it going to hit me? When's it going to bite me? I would not like to have been down there without a cage. I think I might have been in a bit of trouble. You're basically in the control of the shark when you're in that situation. So, you've got to like slow your heart rate down and try and do whatever you can to try and convince that shark not to eat you. And then you've got to be lucky as well. This isn't a skill. Quite often it's just luck. Over time, I just learnt to just try and move that shark on and get back on with the job. It's a great place down there. It's just one little problem we've got to deal with. It's about being able to work with sharks in that environment. Sometimes I get seen as not much of a conservationist, but I really am a big conservationist. I think a lot of fishermen are. I spent a lot of my time out in the ocean collaborating with scientists, looking at seal counts and sending information through, talking to turtle specialists, penguin specialists, shark specialists, and communicating what I'm seeing out there on the ocean. The fishermen are the eyes of the sea. We're out there the whole time, being underwater, working with all these amazing animals all around you all day long, and you're learning how to deal and manage that situation. It's actually a really exciting environment to be in.
I love the southern coastline in winter. It's dynamic, it's windy, it's rugged, the visibility is incredible, and it slaps you around the face with just how cold it is. I'm Sheree Maris, I'm a marine scientist and I'm on the land of the Bunurong people. Over 80% of the marine life found here on the southern shores is found nowhere else on Earth. I just feel so incredibly lucky to live here.
One of the things I love about exploring our southern shores and diving, even, a pier, a man-made structure, is that it becomes a magnet for marine life. And there's lots of animals that people don't see because they're looking for the big things or because the animals are camouflaged. And this is one example. Pot-bellied seagulls. They're really secretive animals, really difficult to find because they're not great swimmers, so they need to be really clever in terms of how they protect themselves. Now you can tell this is a male because he's got this beautiful big pouch, and he's the only male in the animal kingdom to give birth to the babies. Hallelujah. This is the man of my dreams.
When I've come across seahorses mating, they do this incredible ballet, which is so beautiful. They dance around each other, and then she gives him a heap of eggs, puts it in his big pot-belly pouch. She swims off, probably has champagne with the girls at the local rock pool. He then fertilises the eggs internally, and then he kind of sits there, and then after about 2 to 3 weeks, he goes through contractions. And then it's almost like he sneezes, and they come tumbling out like musical notes, the little baby sea ponies. It is extraordinary. And they have between 60 to a couple of hundred, depending on what species. The males actually use the cues from the moon and the high tides to actually synchronise their birth to increase the chance of survival of the baby sea ponies. They'll spend about 2 to 3 weeks drifting in the current, and then they'll settle down, cling onto some seaweed and spend their life feeding their face.
They say the dragons aren't real. I'm about to show you. Not only are they real, but they're underwater. Look at that. Hello, handsome. This is a weedy sea dragon, unique to the southern shores. And this is a male dragon, and I can tell, see those bright pink dots on its tail? They're actually eggs. The female will lay a strip on his tail, and the tail becomes really soft and spongy, and it becomes a cup and holds the eggs in place. You can see why people travel from all around the world to see this fairy tale-like fish. It uses its long mouth to suck up all these tiny little mice and shrimp. He's having a good feed, and he needs to. He's got lots of babies he's got to look after. Did you see that? See how quick it was? Can you beat that? I wonder if he realizes just how beautiful he is.
I'm Dr. Emma Lee. I'm a Trawalway woman from Tebraquina country in northeast Tasmania. Today we're standing here on the lands of Tominginna country. Behind me is the Bass Strait, great shallow body of water between Victoria and Tasmania. Once upon a time this was land. After the Ice Age, sea levels rose and the waters coming in, transforming country into sea country. Our people remembered that. 12,000 years of oral histories. For our culture, women are of the sea. So the spoils, whatever washes up on the shore, belongs to us. We've been making these shell necklaces for thousands of years. And our shells are like a crown of power. It says so much about our governance as women of sea country. And here they are, a connection between us to our ancestors, thousands of years old. Celebration of belonging, known through this. Just as we need our homes, so too do our shells. Our shells are protected, and they are nurtured, and they are fed through seaweeds and kelps. Our kelp forests provide the foods, the medicines, the spiritual, cultural connection we have with sea country, the things that make us Aboriginal. It makes sense to me that these giant kelp forests are also the embodiment of our grandparents. And when they move, it's actually a show of love. Every time you touch seaweed, it's like this almost electrifying of your body. Strings vibrate with connection. The things that have identified us as Aboriginal people are now being lost. Our kelp forests are dying. So our shells are less and less. It feels like a genocide all over again that our kelp forests are gone, and particularly as Aboriginal women. And our one place, our one space that is us, gone. And so it has to be up to us to speak with kelp forests. There is enough left. We can give life back to sea country. As I travel through those kelp forests in my mind, I'm reminded that it takes many things to look after each other. We can't exist in isolation. You don't have to be Aboriginal, have a connection. We will find a way. We're survivors. And we will survive this.
The Shai Albatross is Tasmania's very own species of albatross. We are on Albatross Island, which is in the northwest Bass Strait, and its name in Palawakani is Namanuruni. Watching the Shai Albatross fly is just spectacular. They live for over 40 years and the ocean is their home. They fly at sea for years and years. They only come here out of necessity to raise their young. The first 4 months of their life, they're sitting in the one spot on their nest. Their parents are coming back to feed them every day or so. The chicks are just sitting out on their nest day after day. They get pelted with every weather you can imagine. The northwest of Tasmania is just wild. Gale force winds, rain, all weather conditions. Hot sun. Not many make it. Breeding success is only about 30 to 40% on average year to year. Some years we come out and it's a pretty poor season and there's lots of dead chicks. It's heartbreaking because you think of all the effort these 2 birds have gone to for this breeding attempt, putting all their heart and soul into this egg and this one chick, and it's, yeah, they're one shot at a successful breeding attempt for the year. So we know climate change is going to be an issue for Shai Albatross. These birds are a very long, slow-lived species. They can't adapt quickly. We know that there'll be an increase in extreme events when this could cause heavy rainfall, which would degrade the nests. We have found a link between good nests and successful breeding attempts. And so we want to have a toolbox of options to be able to help this species survive and get through rapid changes. So while the population's healthy and robust, we need to be trialling these conservation strategies and interventions to make sure we've got some options for if things get bad, we can help them.